Get connected with Take Two Radio Music on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio Music. Or for email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit Take2radiomusic.com.
And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Take Two Radio Music. I'm Pam, your host. Happy Wednesday, one and all, and happy hump day to those that call it that. There's a commercial on TV where they have the camels that are saying, but it's not even Wednesday. I don't know. It's funny to me, so. But anyway, I'm very, very, very happy to have with me today a very special guest. And he is a singer, songwriter, producer, multi-instrumentalist, and entrepreneur. And he is Julian Camarena. Julian, are you with me?
Yes, I am. Hey, Pam. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. And thank you for taking the time to join us today. I know how busy you are. I mean, my gosh, just your titles alone is a lot. You must be really busy.
Yeah, got a lot to do, but it's it's all fun work. So.
Yeah, as long as you love what you're doing, it's never work though, right?
Definitely.
So let's go back a bit. I usually do that with all of my guests. How and when did you become interested in music?
Let's see. I think I first started getting interested in music when I was about 8 years old. I started learning to play the saxophone because I wanted to be in the school jazz band, but you had to audition for it. So, I was really interested in the saxophone, so I got as good as I could at it at the time, and eventually auditioned and luckily was successful, and that's kind of where my music interest started.
Well, why the saxophone? I mean, usually kids want to pick the guitar or the drums.
I don't know, but now that I think about it, I used to watch The Simpsons a lot, and the character Lisa in The Simpsons used to play the saxophone, and I guess I was intrigued by it. But that's really the only explanation I can think of.
And not one I expected to get.
Yeah, well.
I thought it would have been more on the lines of, well, my aunt played or my uncle played or my grandfather played and got me interested, Lisa from The Simpsons. That's cool. Well, who besides Lisa were your musical inspirations growing up?
Well, growing up, some of the first records, my dad introduced me to the Beatles early on when I was young, so I listened to them a lot. And I think the first album I got was actually the Red album from the Beatles. And I listened to Elvis. One of the singers that I got really into when I was younger was Billy Joel. And that's kind of what started my love for piano and songwriting, because he always, talked about being more of a songwriter than anything, and that's kind of always how I saw myself. So I really got interested in him, and as I got older, I'd listen to whatever was on the radio, but those were kind of more of the foundation.
Yeah, and those are pretty good ones at that. And I find with most people that are in the music business, either in a band or as a solo singer, do get their inspiration first off from the Beatles. And it amazes me sometimes because, like, speaking with you weren't even born when they were around,
No.
So you had to get that from your family. And that's great that, parents do push that onto their children, and they get inspired by that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, are your brothers musical as well?
My older brother tried to play the clarinet in high school, but he would squeak a lot, so didn't really take too much. But not really. I think I'm really the only one that we're all artistic because my father, he's an artist, he's a painter, and so we kind of grew up around the whole being creative and whatnot. And all my family, my brothers, everyone, we're all creative and we're all good at something. But I think I was the only one that really got into the whole music thing.
When did you discover you could sing?
I don't know. I think when I was about 13 or so, I started getting into, because before that I would just play music, and I would kind of come up with melodies on the instruments. And eventually I figured, I'm going to put lyrics to, I want to put lyrics to these melodies. And I started singing along with my, with the songs that I composed. And, my family heard me and they're like, hey, you can kind of sing all right. And actually before that, I was in a play. I think it was, what was it called? I think it was Old Man River. I think that was a song that I was singing. That was like the first kind of singing performance thing I ever did.
Yeah, and that doesn't seem like an easy song to start out with.
No.
So you had some talent there.
Yeah, and I think the original person who sang that song, that musical, it was like he had a really deep voice. So I remember I would try to go extremely deep with my voice, and I had a really squeaky voice when I was younger, so it was pretty impossible.
Yeah. Well, most boys do when they're younger, so you weren't the only one. Which instrument do you use the most when you're writing your music?
Well, nowadays everything, you can do so much with just a computer and a keyboard. I mean, you can play everything. So I mostly work on. I usually start songs out on the piano, and I try to get a good melody going before I get into the production of the song. But mostly I play the keys because I can play pretty much any part I want to on the keyboard.
Mhm. Yeah. So you write the melody before the lyrics, or does it just vary?
Yeah, usually before I used to write the lyrics and then do the melody, but nowadays I kind of just I work on the melody while I'm doing the production because it kind of forms around with the music, and I like to work on the piano first. Because then you can kind of really focus on just the melody. And as long as you have a good melody, then you can kind of build a production around it, and it's gonna sound good. If it sounds good raw, it's gonna sound really good once the whole production's put into it.
Definitely. Do you take time each day to write, or do you just write it as it comes?
A lot of the writing I do is actually because I live about an hour away from my studio. So most of the writing I do is actually in the car. So I have my iPhone that I have a little recorder on it. So I'm recording. If I come up with any melodies in my head, I usually record them real quick so I don't forget them. But a lot of what I write is usually in the car.
Well, thank God for iPhones, because in the old days you wouldn't be able to do that in the car.
Yeah, right. You gotta some of those cassette recorders if you wanted.
Yeah. And that's kind of dangerous when driving, so we don't want that. Now, you're pretty proactive when it comes to learning everything you can about music, and that includes the producing side of it. So you learn production techniques with Jim, is it Risky? Is that how you say his last name?
Jim Risky. Yeah. He was a producer that I met when I first wanted to get into actually doing this as a profession. I met him at a studio that was close to my house. He was working there, and eventually we started working together, and we started pretty much working on music almost every day. And that's kind of where I got my where I learned a lot of the basics of production, and he kind of gave me my start. And eventually, after working with him for so long, I was able to kind of pick it up and work on my own.
So you still do all this stuff on your own now, or every once in a while do you work with other producers?
Usually now I usually do it all on my own right now. Once in a while I get the chance to work with a different producer here and there, but most of the times it's just like right now I'm actually in my studio right now working on some music, and luckily I have it all to myself, so I get to focus 100%.
Yeah. It helps with no distractions.
Oh, yeah,
do you
definitely.
think you're a perfectionist when it comes to your music?
Definitely. I can love a song one day and then come back the next day and absolutely just hate it. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to release it. So I'm really picky when it comes to music too.
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Oh, the first song I ever wrote. I think it was called Shadows. it was about because I remember I was talking to my dad, and I'm like, I didn't know how to write songs. I didn't know where to start, and he says, you can write a song about anything, and I think I wrote a song about my shadow, because that was the first thing that I saw. I saw my shadow. I was like, okay, I'm gonna write a song about it then. So I think that was the first song I wrote. I don't know how exciting it was, but it was,
Yeah.
it wasn't bad.
But hey, you did it. That's all that counts, and it got you going. So, you wouldn't be where you are today if you didn't work at it.
Yeah.
Now, the first song you released on video with an actual storyboard was "I Don't Want to Wait," and you had over 1 million views on it. What thoughts went through your head when you saw the reaction to your music video?
I was just so happy that people actually listened. First of all, I was happy that people actually listened to the song. And that I was able to get people that actually liked it was just over the top. So I was super excited about that. Because when you first start creating stuff, and especially with music, you have no clue if people are going to like what you create. So that people actually started liking it was just, it was amazing.
I could imagine. It just probably was very surreal to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, do you come up with the ideas for your storyboards, or do you collaborate with someone else?
I usually, on the videos, I usually work with my family and my brother. He's the one that actually directs and helps me put together and shoots the videos and stuff for me. So it's kind of like it's a whole family thing that we're doing, and so which is great, working with family, and we're able to, since we're all creative, we're able to come up with different ideas, and if an idea sucks, we're really honest with each other about it because we're family, so there's no, it works good.
Yeah. Feelings don't get hurt as much when you're working with family, I would imagine, than if you were working with somebody else outside of that.
No, and if you're working with your brother or something, you can just, get in a little fist fight, and, no one gets sued over it.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen too often.
No, we actually get along pretty well.
Good. How do you decide which songs you'll make a video for?
It's usually whatever we kind of decide how, what the listeners are like. If they like a specific song, then usually that's the one that we do a video for. That's why I usually release a single first, and then I see the response. If they like the song a lot, like this last one, Surrender, then we decide to move forward with the storyboard and then getting everything ready for the video.
Yeah. Speaking of Surrender, my gosh, what an awesome video, and I love the behind the scenes video for that too. How did you come up with it? What was your thought process, and especially for the song Surrender?
Well, for this particular video, I kind of wanted to do, we wanted to do something different. We wanted to get more people involved in it. And so we got dancers, and as you can see in the behind the scenes, we got a bunch of dancers, and we had auditions, and got a lot more people involved in this one, which actually made the whole video process a lot more fun. Because usually when you're filming, it's long hours, it's long days, and when there's more people there, it makes it a little bit more bearable, and it's a little bit more fun. And for the whole idea of the Surrender video, we actually didn't necessarily have it, made out ahead of time. It was kind of, we shot as we went on, and for some reason we kind of had a general idea, but we usually we kind of just made up a lot of it on the spot. Wow,
that turned out great for doing it like that. I noticed in the behind the scenes video that a lot of people were saying how hot it was. Where was this shot at?
Okay, so I am from Arizona, and as you know, it is always it's probably cool in Arizona about maybe 4 months out of the year. The rest is just blazing hot. And I think that particular day we were shooting outside, and it was actually at nighttime, and it was still fairly hot. And when you're moving around and you're dancing, it's just like everything's like doubled in heat. So,
yeah. Yeah, I haven't. I was in Arizona for a 45-minute layover, so I'm not. I can't say that I've been up there.
Yeah, it's hot.
But I've been to, California. I've been to Vegas and that, so I understand how that heat works, especially in Vegas. My gosh. But it's still better than where I live in Chicago, because on top of that, you have the humidity. So that really gets you, So they would have been extra hot.
Yeah, the makeup would have been sweating out their face.
Yeah. Well, I think that being in videos is a lot of times like taking on a role as an actor. Would that be something you'd like to get into as well someday?
Yeah, actually, I think acting goes hand in hand with with being a singer, because you're more or less, when you perform, you're more or less acting out, or when you're singing, even during the recording process, you're more or less acting out the song. And I'm always, that'd be something I'd definitely be interested in, and we'll see where things go in the future with that.
Well, you definitely have the look for it, so I say go for it. Now, one thing I've been curious about, when you're doing a video like that, and you hear us as fans watching it, we hear the music and we see you guys singing to it, but how does that actually work? I mean, how do you know? I know it's probably lip syncing to it, but how does that work? How do you know when to do it?
Well, for the parts with the dancers, we had the whole PA system set up and stuff, so we can actually hear the music. So the music's playing loud, so the dancers can more or less feel the beat while they're dancing to it. So there's music playing for the playback, but during the more or less the story part of the video, I actually was just playing the song. I had it on my iPhone, and it was just playing. It was in my pocket, so I could hear my voice, and I was pretty much just singing along.
Oh, okay. Good. See, if you don't ask, you'll never know.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to
wondered about that. Now, as far as doing live shows, are you natural when it comes to doing that, or is that something you have to work yourself up to before getting on stage?
Yeah, I think if you haven't performed in a while, you're usually a little bit rusty, but I can usually get back into it pretty fast. I've been spending most of my time lately in the studio, so I haven't had a chance to do too many live performances. But I'm always rehearsing. I'm always practicing. But before you do any live show or you go on tour or anything like that, you really have to put in the practice and the time and the preparation stuff, because it is a lot of work, and your vocal cords, just like any muscle, you have to work it out and you have to get it ready so that it lasts through the whole show.
Right. How do you protect your voice, you yourself personally, from overworking it?
I try to. Proper singing technique is one of them. A lot of people depend. Some people sing through their throat. Other times, if you have proper support, you can sing right, and that's less strain on your vocal cords. Thankfully, I'm not in like a screamo band or anything, so I don't have to scream or anything. And I drink tea whenever I'm recording. I drink plenty of water. Not that I have a choice here in Arizona, but that's pretty much more or less it.
Yeah, I see a lot of singers walk around with their throats wrapped up too, but I don't think that you'd probably have to do that there. I don't know if it's for the cold or if that's something that just keeps their vocal cords warm.
Yeah, it's probably mostly for the cold.
Well, one song I wanted to mention that I did mention to you in an email is Latin Eyes, because I absolutely love the Spanish influence and lyrics in it. And you mentioned that you're working on something like that for the future. Is that something in the near future, and what can we expect?
Yeah, actually, I'm hoping to get it out next month. The Spanish-English song it's called Heartbeat. I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it a few times on Twitter before while I was doing the initial production of it. And I loved it then, and I still love it now. So I think it's gonna hopefully it hits well with my fans and listeners and stuff. So But yeah, I'm hoping to have it out next month. But it's a song that it's got the nice Latin grooves to it, and it's got a nice feel to it. So I'm super excited about that one.
Definitely, so am I. I absolutely love music in all different languages. And can you sing in Spanish?
Yeah. That one I'm actually.
Or can you speak Spanish?
Well, my dad is from Mexico. He's originally from Mexico, and he's fluent, but he didn't really necessarily speak Spanish to me and my brothers growing up. So we're not completely fluent. We can speak it all right, and we can understand it pretty well, but we're not 100% fluent in it. But I know how to speak it enough to speak to my relatives who can't speak a single word of English. So.
Yeah, but I'm sure you understand it all right.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, you're not like me. I took some Spanish course, and I grew up around a lot of Spanish people, and so you pick things up there, but it's normally the bad words. So.
Yeah. No, I learned all the bad words. Like those are like the first words I ever learned.
Right.
Yeah.
So, will you be releasing an EP or an album soon?
I'm working on an album right now, but I think I'll most likely release an EP before then, just to give people a little bit of a taste of some new music before the full-length album comes out. That way, you can have a little bit more time to work on it. But I'm hoping to get an EP out next month, so that's what I'm really working towards getting out. And I more or less have the songs already set for it, so it should be out soon.
Well, how do you choose the songs that are going to make it to an EP or an album? Do you go with a theme or just the ones that you like the best?
It's usually the ones that I like the best, but I like to have a variety on the album. I don't want to have necessarily, all upbeat dance songs. Like this one, it's going to have a little bit of everything. There's going to be a dance song. There's going to be the Latin song. There's going to be more of a ballad style song. So I like to have variety in whatever I'm releasing, just so it's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, and we like it that way too. I can't imagine you putting in a metal song or, like you said, a song.
I'll put
so
in
the
a heavy
variety
metal song.
you're giving us is good.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans of going on tour this year?
I would like to, hopefully planning on doing it this year during the summertime, doing some sort of tour. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to get a full-length album out by then, so that way, you can go on tour and promote the album. And that's more or less what's in the plans right now.
Do you think you're going to stick with the West Coast or make it across the country, like Chicago? Hello.
Definitely Chicago. I think initially we're going to stay on the West Coast, but we'll make our way over to the East Coast, and then hopefully eventually make it into the UK. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'd love your music over there. I'm it's funny that people tend to love the American music when they're from the UK and vice versa. And it's just because they have a different sound, although a lot of people that don't listen to a lot of music may not recognize that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I wanted to mention to you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. We have something in common besides your music. I have a dog named Jax, and we spell it the same way.
What kind of dog is it?
Oh, I have a Yorkie. Your dog is a Doberman, right?
Yeah, it's a dog.
Yeah, your dog would eat my dog for dinner, so.
It's funny. It's funny because the Doberman is actually, out of all three dogs that we have, he's the most gentle, kindest dog you can ever find. I mean, I honestly think if someone broke into our house, he would probably just try to be friends with them. He's the worst guard dog ever.
Aw. Well, I think a lot of that comes down to how you treat your dog, and if you train them to be, a guard dog, they're going to be a guard dog. But if you don't, it may not necessarily happen. But I have to say that before I became allergic to dogs, and I know that sounds funny, but there's only a couple dogs I can have, which is one of them is a Yorkie. I had a German Shepherd. Those were always my favorites.
Yeah.
And she was meek and mild. I mean, she just loved everybody. But then I had to get rid of her because I became allergic to dogs. I was trying to give her to the police department so they can, have her as maybe one of their dogs to sniff out drugs or whatever. And so the policeman had me put her in the backyard, and I stood there with her, and he was running back and forth by the fence and doing like rah kind of things, My dog was trying to jump over the fence to attack him, and I would have never expected that out of her. So you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
I think it's really just how much time you spend with the dogs. I think the more time you spend with them, the more domesticated they are, the more loyal and obedient they are. It's all about spending time.
Right, exactly. Well, you tweeted out to have people call in, your fans call in, and I'll have you know that over 1,300 that I last count had retweeted and favorited that. But I guess they're too shy to call in, and that happens very, very often. So we don't have any callers, unfortunately, but I hope they're all listening to the show. I think a lot of people
are probably still in school, too.
That, too, yes, yeah. And that's one bad thing about having the show at this time of day. People are either at school or at work, and they'll just listen to the show later on podcast. So, but unfortunately, we didn't get any, and I thought at least a couple of them might have called in, but it didn't happen. I'm going to let you go, though, so I can play a couple of your songs for our listeners. But before I do, would you like to give a shout-out to your fans?
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to give a shout-out to all my fans. Thank you so much for all your support so far. I've got a lot in store for y'all, so I'm super excited about it.
Thank you, and I'm one of your big fans, too, so I'm right there with you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you so much for
really
joining me today. Pardon?
Thank you. I said thank you
for
having
welcome.
me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, and thanks for taking the time out. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best this upcoming year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
For our listeners, be sure to follow Julian on Twitter at Julian Camarena, and that's Camarena. Also like his Facebook page at facebook.com/Julian Camarena fan page. And check out his website at juliancamarena.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube videos and pick up his music on iTunes or Amazon, wherever you get your music from. And right now I'm going to go ahead and play his brand new song, Surrender. Well, as soon as the button will go. There we go.
Don't leave me out in this rain. If you let me in, I can heal all the pain. There's too many broken hearts in this game. I can fix yours if you just let me stay. Surrender. Nothing could take you away.
Love it. I wanted to mention, too, in case you haven't been on Julian's website, he has the lyrics to all his songs, which I think is awesome. I know that there has been times that I've caught people singing the wrong lyrics to a song, and it always cracks me up. But he has the lyrics up there, and he has it for Surrender, too, so check it out. Next song I'm going to play is Set You Free.
Today the sky cries for you, 'cause it can feel me crying too. I don't know how to say goodbye when you were always by my side. Now that you're gone, girl, I'll try to move on. I'll be strong for you. Be strong for you. Now that you're gone, girl, I'm trying to move on. I'll be strong for you. Be strong for you. Now that you're gone, I'll write this song. I know wherever you are, it won't be far from where we are. So with this simple melody, I set you free. Yeah, I set you free. Yeah, yeah. And today the sun will not shine, 'cause somehow it knows that I'm not fine. And I don't know how to say goodbye when you were always, always, always by my side. Now that you're gone, girl, I'm trying to move on. I'll be strong for you. Be strong for you. Now that you're gone, girl, I'm trying to move on. I'll be strong for you. Be strong for you. I'll be strong for you. Wherever you are, it won't be far. So with this simple melody, I set you free. Oh, I set you free. With this simple melody, I set you free.
What a beautiful song. Last song I'm going to play today is Latin Eyes.
Te quiero, te necesito, te amo, mi amor. Sí, mi amor. I see you thinking day and night like you're trying to read her mind. You know it now, she's gone. You can't deny you're wrong. She's got eyes for me. She's got eyes for me. She got eyes only for me. She sees what she wants in me. You can try to make her look your way, but she won't give you the time of day, because her Latin eyes belong to me. To me. I woke up early trying to remember what we did last night. Crumbled beneath your body, lost in your seductive smile. You stole my heart like it's a crime. Never sleep another night. Let's chase the moonlight where the stars they shine so bright. Light fire in your eyes. She's got eyes only for me. She sees what she wants in me. You can try to make her look your way, but she won't give you the time of day, because her Latin eyes belong to me. To me. To me. Sé que me estás mirando. She got eyes only for me. She sees what she wants in me. You can try to make her look your way, but she won't give you the time of day, because her Latin eyes belong to me. To me. To me.
Such a fun song. Makes me want to learn salsa dancing. I can't wait to hear his EP and his album, and I really, really hope he goes on tour, because he'd make a lot of fans really, really happy. And hopefully, someday soon get it into Chicago so I can meet him and see him play live. I love seeing my favorites live, because there's nothing like it in concert. So another shout-out to Julian. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know you're such a busy guy, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time to join me today. Thanks for all who listened in, and I'll be back next Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with another hour of indie music from around the world, so I hope you'll join me. This podcast will be on my website, take2radiomusic.com. That's with the number 2. And it'll be under guest podcasts, and you can listen to it at any time. Share it with your friends, and next time we have him on, call in. I know some of you are probably at school or at work, but maybe we'll do a later show, and that way you can call in and talk to him, because I know a lot of you probably would like to do that. So take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Get connected with Take Two Radio Music on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio Music, or for email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit take2radiomusic.com.